Welcome to the next episode of Discipline, Desire, and Dedication. My name is Dakota Lang, along co-host Garrett Cotton. Over here in Denver, Colorado, December 14th. Yep. So coming up on the end of the year, we got Mr. B-Rob with us. What up, B-Rob?
Yo, what's good?
Yeah. Glad to have you on, bro.
I'm excited to be here.
I know we were talking about it last night. Super stoked about having you on for sure, bro.
I've been waiting. What took y'all so long?
You took so long.
Kind of just got recently announced market honor. We can say it on here. Fuck it.
Yeah, we're not gonna post this until a little bit later. So
I'll be in the office by then.
Yeah, you'll be in the office by then. So going down to Houston, right? Going down to Houston, Texas. You said you made your first year with Performance Windows yesterday.
It was December 12th.
December 12th.
Yep.
So 1 year anniversary. Congrats on that. Kind of. Let's go back to you as a child. Where exactly did you grow up? Kind of talk about, your mindset. What did you want to be when you grew up and how we got to this point today?
Yeah, so that's great. So I grew up in Kenner, Louisiana, so Kenner, bro. So right there by the airport. And,
Well, you grew up in Kenner?
Yeah, I grew up in Kenner. Yeah, I grew up in Kenner, Louisiana, which is right outside New Orleans. And, I was heavily involved in sports and things like that growing up as a child. Basically raised by a single mother majority of the time. My dad was there off and on. But I just had a real close relationship with my mom, and just growing up, being in sports, staying busy, was never really in trouble. Was never really in any type of drama growing up. I stayed away from drama and things like that and just kind of stayed in my lane. And then from Kenner, moved to Slidell to Morgan City, which is way down in the bayou.
So how old were you when you started making those moves? Like when you moved from Kenner to Slidell?
So it was my freshman year of high school. I finished freshman year of high school in Kenner High School called Bonneville. So I was about, 14, 15 when I moved to Slidell. Only lived there for a year. When I was 16, we moved to Morgan City. And then my mom was working for this oil and gas company called Tidewater Marine. And, we lived in a rather small apartment. It was a 2-bedroom apartment. Me and my sister, we bunk beds and stuff. She was at the top, I was at the bottom. And then, my mom had her room, things like that. And, while in high school, living in Morgan City, we lived right there. There's an interstate, right? And the apartment is on one side of the interstate, and then right past the interstate over the little underpass, it's like a neighborhood with like rather nice homes. So like through high school and everything, I had like friends that lived in that neighborhood, had nicer things, stuff like that. And, I was kind of, in a sense, had some type of embarrassment, shame, things like that, because, we didn't have as much as, those other kids, but I didn't let that, change me as a person. I always stayed true to myself. I was always nice to everybody. I'd even though, I'd want that pair of shoes that kid has on, I had to, live within our means and stuff. My mom, she did the best she can. She gave me basically anything that I asked for, within reason. What I mean? It couldn't be nothing crazy, nothing like that. She got me an Xbox and, got me that stuff. But like, didn't really have a bunch of money. She was able to make ends meet, things like that, give us a little bit extra, but that's about it. And, fast forward, graduate from Morgan City High School. And
what year did you graduate?
I graduated Morgan City High School in 2015, and that's the last time I've been to Morgan City. So, there ain't really much going on down there.
No.
There's, it's either, go work in the shipyards over there, or go working for oil and gas company like Tidewater Marine or things like that. And for me, that just wasn't for me. I was in JROTC in high school, which that's the most valuable class I was ever in high school.
And what is that now?
JROTC. That's like the cadets and things like that. Like that's people who
entry level to like the officer route of the military.
Yeah. Okay. Kind of, so similar to what you did in college.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. It's like the junior ROTC.
Yeah, junior ROTC. So I was in that. That's probably the most valuable life lessons I was taught. Like at the time, Colonel Williams, he's actually from Morgan City. He did 22 years in the military. earned the rank of lieutenant colonel, things like that. And he was actually a trauma care surgeon in the military, so he saw all kind of crazy things. But he taught us and certified us for CPR.
Mm-hmm.
Like while there, like what other class is gonna, or who else is gonna do that for you? And then that's not happening in history class. I can tell you that right now. You know what I mean?
Actual life lessons.
Exactly, actual life lessons. So I gravitated towards that because I was actually learning something that I was gonna apply in life. You know, I'm not doing MXY plus B on this podcast right now. So I mean, what are we talking about? But the thing is, it's I was able to gravitate towards that, and I wanted to go into the military. I took my ASVAB, and it was either go into the military or go to college and be a marine biologist. And guess what? I'm in neither right now. I'm sitting in front of y'all right now.
Selling windows.
Exactly, selling windows. And, going through the ASVAB, I took it 2-3 times, and I had to score good enough to go into the Navy. So, because I have 2 uncles in the Navy. One, this is his 20th year this year. Okay. He's about to retire, and the other one, he did 17. Had to leave for medical reasons, but nonetheless, I go in to the Navy to apply, and they're asking me, like what's your health history like? Were you ever on medication, things like that? And like I'm ADHD as hell. I'm pretty sure y'all know. Just
I feel like all of us are.
No, but sometimes mine's on 10. Like I can't stop moving, like at all. Like I cannot sit still. I have to move some part of my body. Like my foot hasn't stopped tapping this whole time. I've been on this podcast, but nonetheless, it's just like I went through the process in the Navy, and they actually denied me because I was on ADHD medicine for a prolonged period of time.
Yeah,
and at that point, like in 2016. At that point, like the Navy had so many people trying to get in at that time. So I was like, whatever, ain't for me. And then I started working in Panama City, Florida. I worked out there for 2 years on the shipyards. I worked for this company called Juneau Marine out of Houma, Louisiana.
Okay, so why? Okay, so run me back on that. So, because I know you said in Morgan City you could have worked on the shipyards there. What made you want to take an opportunity to go out of state and work into a different shipyard?
Well, it just so happened that the job was out there. Okay. So my buddy Nick, at the time, he was one of my closer friends in high school. My mom was leaving to go to Houston because she got a promotion for Tidewater Marine to go work at headquarters. So she lived in Katy, Texas, and I was still in Morgan City, working with my buddy. And it was real nice. His parents, very accepting, very grateful for them to allow me into their home to stay with them, right, while doing the job. Because I mean, we'd only be at the house in Morgan City for 2 days, and then we're going right back out to Panama, driving back to Panama City, mind you. We ain't flying out there. We're driving back and forth. And I did that for about 8-9 months, and I was just like, this hard labor stuff ain't for me. Okay, this ain't for me. And plus, work was starting to slow down, so it just kind of made sense. Like, it was between me staying and another guy. And for me, I wanted to go to college. And, this guy was, depending on keeping this job. So I went to the supervisor, and I was like, hey, look, let's not stress dude out anymore. I'm going to go ahead and leave. Let him keep his job. And I'm going to go to southeastern Louisiana, which that's where I met the both of you at.
Yep.
In college. What a time.
What a time. Yeah. And before we get into the college aspect of it, I really like what you said, the physical labor and, as we grew up, we were always preaching, harder you work, the more money you make, right? Harder you work, the more money you make. Well, whenever I took a job over at Testex and this was right before I went into real estate, and I went and worked in New York. I went and worked in West Virginia, Philadelphia, and we were in these plants, and I was sitting in here and I'm shooting these tube things through these cylinders, and I'm telling you, there's 1,000 cylinders, and you're just sitting there. I'm listening to podcasts, just constantly going, and it's kind of similar to what you were saying. It's I sit here and I just keep working hard and just keep working harder as everybody's taught me growing up, and I'm not making any progress. You know what I mean? And that's kind of what deterred to go into the college route because they say, okay, well, you go get your education. You don't have to work hard no more. You can work with your brain, right?
I've heard that.
Yeah, so you can work with your brain, right? So that's kind of, would you say that was kind of your thought process?
Yeah, I mean, and my mom, she was very big on the 9 to 5. Get you a good 9 to 5, 9 to 5, 9 to 5.
Safety net.
Exactly, and I mean, it drove me crazy. It absolutely drove me insane. And I did everything in my power not to have a 9 to 5. Okay, so I went to college to make her happy. So that's why I went to college, Mom. But I went to college to make her happy. She was super proud of me, everything like that. And I went to Southeastern, and I was in a single dorm, and I had a roommate in there, and literally, like, the foot of my bed touched his headboard.
Oh, God.
So we were in a room that small, and then I had a closet, he had a closet, and then there was like a shared. Like,
and you knew the person that you were rooming with?
No, never met this dude in my life, and he, he had his quirks and stuff, regarding certain things about his body that maybe he could have cleaned up on, but I was like, dude, there's no way I could stay in this dorm and T-Mac, I see him because I remember him from Bonneville and everything. And, we went to the union and they were in there, the fraternities, trying to recruit and stuff like that. And he's like, hey, bro, he's like, you look familiar. And I was like, I went to Bonneville. He's like, oh, word. So chat with him. He was like, so what's your dorm situation? And so I was like, it's terrible.
Yeah,
it is god awful. This man smells like BO all the time, and he all he does is play his Nintendo Switch. Like, I can't be in there. This is a detriment to like my growth as a human. Just not being in that environment. And so he's like, look, if you join or if you rush, we'll give you a spot in the house. It's a big old room. You'll have your own bathroom, things like that. So for the simple fact of me getting out of my dorm room, I took the offer and rushed and rushed the fraternity, and that's when I come back, and that's when I really was able to meet the both of y'all, because we were all doing our silly antics and stuff, in the bars and stuff like that.
Yeah, we're gonna get into the fraternity aspects. I do want to elaborate, especially with all of us being in that in the Greek life, I guess you can say. But talk about how your decision was to go into college to make your mom happy, right?
Oh yeah.
Do you feel like that a lot of people do that? They just go to college just to make their mom or dad happy?
Oh, 1,000%. No doubt in my mind, because I was one of them. And my mom, again, and like, I love making my mom proud and happy and everything like that. And when I got accepted into Southeastern, she had this sparkle in her eye, like just extremely proud, like crying, things like that. But it doesn't compare to the feeling and how proud she is of right now, in this moment. So, like, for the people who feel that, you're going to college because you feel it's the right thing, maybe you should think again. Because what you're doing is you're actually, if you're just going to college to see what it's like, well, guess what? That's 10 grand coming out of somebody's pockets. Okay, so let's cut the bull and let's think on it before we go ahead and make that step.
Yeah.
Even myself, I went to college to buy time because I didn't know what I was working at Chili's. And for college, I took it as I'm going to meet. That's why I did Greek life, is because it was the networking aspect. Maybe I'll meet somebody who's going to help me and figure out what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. Because going in, I was a business administration major. Yeah, just basically a general studies degree.
And a lot of people don't even know what they want to do to go to college. Like, they want to have the college experience, right? The college experience. That's the big thing. The college experience. And yeah, it's nice, fun, and dandy. You get in a frat, pay for your friends. That's great. You now there's lots of benefits with it because you're networking, things like that. But as far as going to college with no game plan, don't go to college.
No.
Now, if you have your mind dead set, mom was a doctor, dad was a doctor, aunt's a doctor, brother's a doctor. Well, guess what? You're probably going to college to be a doctor. You know what I mean? But if your uncle has a degree in finance, and then your mom has an associate's, and then your mom, they just want you to go to college to get your education to get a really good job.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you show up to college, and you're like, well, what do I do?
Right.
What now?
Open up the
I'm
math
here.
book.
Like I'm here.
Yeah.
Like, and when you get to college, there's no one holding your hand.
Mm-mm.
There's nobody holding your hand like in high school. Like when you in high school, you get to the class. All right, where's your homework? Did you do your homework? All right, I'll give you another day to do it.
Get started.
Nah. In college, they give you dates to have that stuff turned in. And if it ain't, you will get a 0.
Yep.
And you will fail out quicker than you know.
Yep.
All right. So if you really don't have a game plan, and a lot of times people don't even figure out their major until they're almost 3 years in.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're like, all right, this is what I want to do. Okay, now we're about $35,000, $40,000 in debt at this point, and now we're starting to figure out what we're doing. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And you get a situation like me where you go 5 years to college and don't even graduate. Did you graduate?
I did not graduate.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like
I spent a year and a half in college, almost 2 years, and
4 years in the Brown Door University.
yeah, I mean, we definitely graduated from there. No
Yeah,
doubt.
we got a piece of paper.
Yeah. So go through that. So you get into college. You move into the Kappa Sig house.
Yeah.
Okay, so you move into the Kappa Sig house. Kind of talk about, because obviously you're from Morgan City. There's a totally different population from Hammond, Louisiana, and Morgan City.
Yeah.
Kind of talk about that transition as far as, spreading your wings and starting to network, people as far as letting people know who B-Rob is.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing is, I've always done that growing up. Like no matter where I was at, for some reason, like I was able to make an impression.
Mm-hmm.
Just being impressionable, no matter who I came across, like no matter what group of people. In high school, it could have been the athletes, it could have been, the kids playing Magic in the library.
Is your mom an outgoing person? Is she very social?
She's to a degree. My dad's definitely not. Like he's very introverted. Like
that's what I'm curious of. Is it more of like you going one way or the other, like your parents?
Well, my mom, she's outgoing. She's outgoing, but not with she's not gonna, if it's like someone's new, she's not gonna be like the most. She's very welcoming.
Mm-hmm.
She's very welcoming, and there's a difference between being like outgoing and welcoming. You know what I mean? Like you could welcoming, you could be like, all right, I'll allow you, and then get comfortable, and then be outgoing with that person. She's just not upfront, immediate outgoing.
Right.
She's not someone.
Somebody can go talk to her, but she's not going to go talk to them.
Exactly.
She's approachable.
She's definitely approachable, and now if something's off, she'll go address it. But
Right.
But other than that, if we're just chilling, she's not gonna be like.
She probably smacked you around as a little kid.
Oh, all the time. I mean, I try to limit that as much as I can, but sometimes I need a bop in the head. You know what I mean?
Still need a bop in the head.
I can see her smacking you around.
Yeah, she gave me a spanking or two. That's fine.
B-Rob's mom beating him down, whipping the belt.
That's probably why you're so approachable, though, is because growing up with females in your life, a sister. You only have one sister, right?
I have two sisters and a brother.
Okay. Yeah. Are you real close to your brother? Oh yeah, Jay.
Yeah,
Julian.
Yeah, he. I'm real close with him, and then I have little sister. Me and Julian's sister. Her name's Reagan.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, she just won the state championship in volleyball for Slidell.
Dang.
So
Shout out.
She's a state champion, and she doesn't know this yet. By the time the podcast comes out, she's also voted Player of the Year for the state of Louisiana in volleyball.
Let's go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. That's
So-
nasty.
Fam's rising.
She has no idea. They're saving it for like the banquet that they're throwing, and then they're gonna announce it there at the banquet.
That's nasty.
Yeah, no, she's a dog, bro. She's a dog. I don't know if she's not in the Gatorade Player of the Year conversation, then I don't know, something's off there.
Yeah.
But yeah,
That's incredible.
but yeah, on my dad's side, I have a brother and sister. On my mom's side, I have my little sister, but I always grew up with my mom and my little sister.
Yeah.
So I've always, like always growing around women, came with knowing how to treat, just things like just being nice, just treat people the way you want to be treated, because that's really what it comes down to. But the biggest thing that helps me, or that has helped me and continues to help me, is no matter how outgoing I am very observant. And I pay attention to people. I pay attention to how they act, react, things that make them tick. I'm just very, very observant of all that, and I'm observant of people's relationships and how they deal with things, and I'm observant of like everything that my mom's been through. Dating men, and my little sister's dad. She was actually married to him for 7, 8 years, with him for 10 years of my life. So he was my stepdad for an extended period of time. But yeah, it's just I lost my thought, but
Yeah,
that's
well,
fine.
No, you're good.
But the thing is like just being observant. That's just really helped me to really connect with people, because you can't just be the forefront of the show.
Well, I'm gonna let this piggyback on this.
Yeah.
Because remember, the reason we got to this point in the conversation is because we were talking about your network, open up your wings and networking through the fraternity, right?
Yeah.
Talk about how that fraternity maybe helped you grow as a person as far as networking with different type of people. Because whenever you're in a fraternity like at Southeastern, you have people from all across the state, maybe even out of state, that have totally different beliefs, different perspectives on life. What was that experience like, creating those new friendships and relationships?
Oh, the experience was it's definitely a once in a lifetime experience. I wish for everyone to have that experience if it calls for it, because joining a frat, and I always say joining a frat, pay for your friends, right? But that's just my thing. But as far as the network aspect of it is, like, some of those people in that fraternity might have like dads or moms who are like executives of like these large companies and things like that, and that could get your foot into a door of your dream job.
And it kind of comes back to that show me your friends, I'll show you your future type thing. The fraternity life itself is taking a risk, because how many people won't take the risk because they're like, F Greek life, right?
Yeah.
They're like pay for your friends, like all that kind of stuff. But it's, again, taking the risk to do what the majority won't. And I think those are kind of the decisions that you've made in the past couple of years that have really helped you to get to where you are today.
And like for that, that's why I really don't, whatever. But that's why I grew to be so popular in Hammond, like at the time, is because,
you put yourself out there.
Like literally, like 1 month no one knows you, and then the next everyone knows who you are, because news through Greek life spreads like wildfire.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean. Everybody knows. If one person knows, then probably 100 more people know about whatever that one person knows about. But my first job in Hammond was bartending at Kate Street. And the only reason why I got hired is because I was in a fraternity. Like the owner of Kate Street, he was like, I'm looking for someone who like could get people in the bar.
Right.
And so I was like, all right, cool. Just give me this day and this. Give me a Tuesday and a Friday, which those are like more the Tuesday, slowest day, easy. Friday, it could either be dead or it could be great.
Banger,
It could
So, and Friday's just more. It was more so dead rather than.
Well, that's
than,
because
lit.
in Southeastern, Thursday nights is the big night.
Exactly. So I told him, I said, look, just give me those 2 days and let me go to work. And so that's what I did. I posted my story every day, just very consistent about, what I was doing. And I'll never forget. I got Tuesdays to where I had people coming in like for studying. Like I had like 100 people in there studying on tables and stuff
crazy.
like that, and I had the music playing low and
In
had
a
them
bar.
drink in a bar, and they were drinking. And then there was one Tuesday I will never forget. I think it was in the summertime. It was July. I don't know what happened. I promise you, I didn't do anything special that day. The bar hit capacity on a Tuesday night in the summertime. Hit capacity. I had to call Worm, or the guy who
Jeremy.
Jeremy. I had to call him from upstairs and Caitlin to come downstairs and help me. I said, look, I can't be door guy, bartender, and DJ all at the same time with 400 people in here right now. Like there's just way too much, or 200 people, whatever what it was. And they come down, they're like, how did you do this? And I was like, I just been posting. Like, I'm telling people to come out, have a good time. That's it. Like, and I started getting regulars and stuff like that. And then they started having me bartend Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and then it was Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and they had me bartend more because at some point they knew when I was in the bar, people are coming to see me.
And I think that's a great lesson as well, because it starts off with you branding yourself, even in a bar at Cate Street. You know, you branded yourself that, and it kind of comes back to Grant Cardone saying it's better to give 100% effort to the wrong thing than 50% to the right. So even in that situation, you gave. When you're posting it on Snapchat, don't care what people think about it, and it resulted in a good flow of people coming into the bar. The same thing that you've done here at Performance Windows is you've started to brand yourself, and it may not be the right thing, but because we give 100% to it, results are going to happen. It's a given. Yep. So it started at the bar. Isn't that crazy to think about?
Ridiculous. Crazy times. But
so I'm curious because you ended up at Brown Door.
Yeah, how did that transition?
How did you end up going to the Brown Door?
Oh yeah, so this is great. So mind you, I was building the bar up. I mean, we always go back to the saying, don't bite the hand that feeds you, right? So I'm building Cate Street up to, like, I'm not saying it was me single-handedly, because I mean they had like another person there that was like kind of helping out, but I was mainly the person who built that bar up to get that amount of people there, because that was the sole purpose on why they hired me to go there, was to get bodies in the bar. That's what I did. That's what I achieved. And the owner of the company, he was like, he, for whatever reason, would just like nitpick at me. I mean, yeah, sometimes I'd show up late, whatever. I'd show up late, but guess what? I do go above and beyond to make sure I had people in that bar. So it was it was one day that Brady, thanks. He was in the bar, and Brady would order a beer and a shot. He'd order a beer and a shot, or he'd order a beer and 2 shots, whatever the case may be. And I'd ring it up. Every single time. And they had a camera in front of the register so that, he could see what we're doing and things like that. And I was always honest about my job. Why am I stealing if I'm making a boatload of money bartending, doing what I'm supposed to do?
Right.
Like, I have no, and he called Caitlin and he was like, hey, he's taking money out the register. And Caitlin like grabbed my tip bucket and took it from me. And I was like, what's going on? She's like, you're fired. You're taking money out the register. I was like, what are you talking about? Like actually dumbfounded.
Yeah.
And she was like, Mule said you have to leave, yada, yada. And I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah.
And
this is in the middle of a shift. Packed bar. Full bar. And she's like, you were giving drinks and shots away. I said, I wasn't. Like, I legit was not. And so and he's been nitpicking at. So at this point I was like, you know what, whatever. I'm done. I'm fed up with it. I left, of course, mad as hell. But so like a week later, Brett, he's like trying to get the Brown Door going again. It's about to open, and it was like the next day after the Cate Street thing happened, and I was outside or walking past Cate Street, and Brett saw me and he stopped me. He was like, "Hey, he's like, are you bartending here?" I was like, "No." I said, "Apparently I got fired yesterday for stealing money out the drawer." And he's like, "Really?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "It's complete." Told him what happened, and he's like, "Well, I need a bartender, and everyone knows you. So how about you come work at the Brown Door? It's gonna be me, you, Trent, and like someone else, but nonetheless, it was us 3
and there had to be someone else there, but it was just us three basically bartending, and like we just because everyone knew us three as a collective,
Yep.
and from across all of Greek life, like when Brown Door opened again, that bar was just flooded
It was-
with people.
Yeah.
Like and it was such a relieving feeling because I didn't feel like it was all on me to get bodies in there.
Right.
And the craziest thing is when I left Kate Street a week later, no one's going to that bar. Everyone's in the Brown Door.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's in the Brown. I look, see like a couple people in there.
Uh-huh.
I mean, whatever. But everyone was in Brown Door, and that's all cool, fine and dandy. But like it was just it was just nice that someone sees the work that I put in, things like that, and was like, hey, you know what, that guy treated you wrong, and I won't. And Brett never did. Always treated with respect. Hey, you're doing great, awesome, good job. Like just keep doing what you're doing.
Right.
That's it. And we just went about our day.
What would you say is your biggest takeaway from that lesson of getting fired in the middle of a shift? What was the biggest thing you learned?
I'd say the biggest thing is
because it had to be like a weird moment. You know what I mean? You're in the middle of a shift in a bar room that you've built up your clientele, right?
Yeah.
You're the one that maxed out that, you can say that the other people had a hand into it, but at the end of the day, you put a lot of effort into that, which finally got the room filled just for it to be taken from you. What would you say that whenever you walked out of that door, what was your mindset like?
I was enraged.
Right.
Like I was like, I built this. Like you brought me in here for a reason. I achieved that. And then it's like you just kind of push me out, like just throw me right out.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt disrespected. I felt, in a sense, I guess, I wouldn't even say betrayed because we never even had that relationship like that. But definitely disrespected because, you hired me for a reason. I fulfilled that. And then, you take me out like Tuesday's trash. But, yeah, I was upset. But the biggest thing I take from that is, how to deal with situations like that. Because in the moment I was like, I'm in Hammond, Louisiana. You know what I mean?
But at the time, we didn't have many options.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
That was the capital.
That's the thing. Yeah, Hammond, Louisiana, USA.
Yeah.
But I'm like, dude, it's Kate Street. Like, there's so many other things. Like, and again, our fun at the time was, North Kate Street. It was like from
Fifths down.
from Fifths to Kate Street, right there. It's a block and a half of activities to do, and I was just like, nah, I'll find something else. And it was like the next day I had a job at the bar 2 doors down.
Right.
So
and talk about that. So you go into the Brown Door, right? How long did you work at the Brown Door?
like 4 years.
4 years.
Yeah.
What was the final straw? Like, hey, I got to get out of here.
Well, it wasn't even like a, hey, I got to get out of here. I just kind of slowly transitioned out, So I was doing bartending. I was bartending. And then they were like, oh, we need someone to play music. And I was like, all right, cool. And I just go there. I had a HP Pavilion.
Yeah.
And I wasn't like, I didn't have like DJ boards or anything. I was just next.
Yeah,
like
build up a playlist.
literally auxing the songs. And sometimes I'd play the music from my phone in the bar. And I'd be up there on my microphone and stuff. And, sometimes I go bartend. But I was having more fun, like DJing and I was definitely emceeing.
Yeah.
But DJing and emceeing than I was bartending. And so I just went in there. I was like, if I'm going to come in here every night, I'm going to do it. I'm going to get paid to do it. So I started doing DJing, emceeing. And then like Ed Mannix, he came to me. He was like, you do make this look really fun. He's like, if I'm going to like get a little DJ set and learn how to DJ, he's like, would you mind if I like took over, a night? And I was like, yeah. And I was doing it from Tuesday to Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's 5 days, and sometimes on Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And you going in, in the evening, probably not finishing up till 2:30.
It's from 8 to 3.
3, yeah.
8 p.m. to 3 a.m. Sometimes 7 p.m. depending on if there's a
Right.
social or anything going on. Getting in there a little bit later, but never leaving. I'm always leaving at 3 a.m.
Right.
And Ed was like, I want to try it out. I was like, cool. I said, you got Wednesdays. Like you got
Pranks.
Wednesdays, and exactly. And so Ed was doing his thing, and because Ed was starting to have fun and starting to get the hang of it, I was like, all right, cool. Let's dial back. Like, all right. Or if there's a day like I wanted off, be like, hey, Ed, you got it. Because he was working door, and he didn't want to work the door. Like, door guy, you kind of do that just to, like, make some money. It ain't nothing crazy.
To get into the scene.
Exactly. So,
Right.
but Ed, eventually, I kind of veered out of that. And, I started getting into photography and shooting pictures and stuff like that. And Ed was DJing at the Brown Door. And now I move over to, doing photography. And I'm in clubs in New Orleans. And, I'm shooting for, like, these big EDM artists, like Subtronics and Virtual Riot. I shot for RL Grime.
I've seen them live.
Yep, RL Grime, pretty cool, whipped cream. But that was, again, me having fun, but I figured out a way to get paid.
Right.
And now if we come back way early in the conversation to what my mom was always talking about, and at this point I'm out of college, so getting that 9 to 5. So she's always 9 to 5, 9 to 5, 9 to 5. Now this whole time I've been DJing, MCing, bartending, photography, everything. That is complete opposite of a 9 to 5. You know what I mean?
Was she still pushing you to do 9 to 5 in this period?
Yes,
Really?
absolutely. She's like, yeah, you're always in bars and you're just, partying and having fun. And I said, well, look, if I'm a party and have fun anyway, I might as well get paid for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I figured out a way to still have my fun, but get paid to do it. And that's exactly what I did. That's exactly what I did. Going into all that, and eventually, fast forward, I'm 28 right now, so I was doing, like, photography, all that for like a 6-year time period.
Until how old?
Until I was 20, I'm 28, so 26, 25, 26. Yeah, 26 is when I stopped.
I kind of want to hear the transition from getting out of the bar scene. So what got you into trucking?
Yeah, that's what I'm getting into right
All right,
now.
let's get it.
I like that. See, you got a little crystal ball. But
I know.
nonetheless,
That's why I'm in this position.
but the thing is, hey, if you want to be great at sales, it's the art of predicting, right? You got to master that art. But nonetheless, that's where you're at. But
That's right.
But so, like, I got into a real dark place, like doing, like, all the partying, right? You could only
But that's
imagine.
one thing, is you can't have a lifetime in a bar.
You cannot.
And, like, even, I don't care who you are, you can be the MC, and you're the guy having the fun. But behind closed doors, we see that, like, it's not always you're high. There's got to be a low.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing is like, a lot of people that you see who are successful, DJs, like club DJs that, like, travel. Like, for instance, DJ Pauly D, right? He's always in a party scene. Now, mind you, he made a lick off of Jersey Shores, but before Jersey Shores, he was a DJ, and he's always in a party scene. But look at how he looks. He works out.
Yeah.
I'm sure he eats right. Things like that. Like, sure he drinks alcohol, but the thing is, he takes care of himself first before doing all that stuff. And I sure as hell wasn't. You know what I mean? I was getting trash, going to sleep, not waking up until, whatever time, and then doing it all over again. Body, just running my body through the mud.
But you were playing basketball and stuff like that too, but even that kind of stuff, I felt like it was canceling each other out.
Exactly.
The little bit I was doing, because I wasn't eating right, I was eating terrible, but I'd play basketball every day, or I'd go on a 2-mile run. But go that night to go drink a gallon of alcohol, it cancels it out. So I was not doing anything productive. So.
Exactly, and And for that, I was just tired of this never ending cycle of just like, and also there was a time where, I kid you not, I had a headache that did not go away for damn near a month. And that's because of like my lack of sleep, like my sleep schedule just being all over the place. So I just stopped. Literally just stopped, got my sleeping right, and I was taking like ibuprofen every day because from the time I went to sleep to the time I woke up and throughout the entire day I had this headache that never went away, and it was from all the partying and from all of the just being off of complete having a terrible sleep schedule.
Terrible
And
habits,
so
yeah.
I took 2 weeks, completely stopped, and then I got back to a normal sleep schedule, and the headache went away, gone.
Yeah.
I was like, oh wow, this is nice.
Living
So,
how you're supposed to.
And at that point, I was like, okay, let's not go back to that. And I said, all right, so what's completely different from nightlife? Being around people. And people tell you that you're cool all the time, and be around, like hearing all that all the time. And what's completely different? Oh, I know, truck driving, being by yourself with your own thoughts for long drives. Okay, let's go ahead and do that.
And
so,
did you have somebody bring you into that, or how'd you find it?
No,
You
I
Googled it?
went to Indeed.
Oh, okay.
I went on Indeed, and I was just like, I typed, paid truck driving classes, or whatever the case may be, and it was a company called Halver Lines, and their headquarters is in Superior, Wisconsin. And the recruiter, he called me, he got my information, we talked, and he was like, all right, cool, we'll have you on board, for July 7th. This was 2 years ago, July 7th, and so I went to Rosemont, Minnesota, which is right outside of St. Paul and Minneapolis, about 10 minutes right outside of it. And I went there, took my courses and everything. I think it was like a 10, 12 week period.
Okay, so you were down there for a little while.
Yeah, I was in a hotel for like 10 weeks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Damn.
And had a shuttle every day come pick me up and drive me to the office and everything. Shuttle bring me back to the hotel. So the only thing that was right by me was an Applebee's, and I chowed on some Applebee's for a little while, but
Too bad it wasn't a Chili's.
but the thing is, all right. So the thing is, chili for life. Now they paid $1,000. It was like $1,000, I think a week, or $1,000 every 2 weeks. Nonetheless, I didn't have to pay to get my CDL. That was the biggest thing, is I didn't want to pay. I wanted to be paid to get my CDL.
Right.
Yeah.
And so with this company, you have to sign, you have to work with them for at least a year or do 120,000 miles on the road. And that's the contract that you sign upon, them paying for your CDL. And so I went through that whole process. And then, 10, 12 weeks. My first test, I passed the written test easy. I passed, the parking, things like that, and it was the driving. And we're going through this roundabout, and we're going through this roundabout, make it through the first one. The second one, if the tire touches the curb, you fail automatically.
Oh, shit.
On the trailer?
On anywhere the truck
Anywhere the truck.
touches that curb, it could be the side. I'm talking like brushes against the curb.
Boom.
Fail, automatic. And this is the last turn before we're going right to where we started at for this driving test. I get through the first roundabout, coming around the second, and the tire, I'm talking grazes the curb, and the instructor saw it. And there's a camera that's in the truck. And because he saw it, and because I knew he saw it, he's like, gotta fail you. Failed me. And then you have to wait 7 days before you could take the test again. So I had to wait a whole nother week just to take the driver's course again. Now, when it's the same route you're going on. Now, the second go around, We're going through it. I'm making through all the turns, things like that. Now we're getting back to where I failed at, right? I'm clenched. All right. I'm like, I said it happened one time. It ain't going to happen again, right?
Nope.
I have never experienced pressure than what I did in that. I will never, ever forget that feeling that I felt in that moment trying to pass this truck driving test. Like, y'all, you talk about pressure. Like, I felt like I had a family of 8 depending on me to make this so I could pass this test. Like, that's how much pressure I had, and I made the curve just fine. I passed the test, and I just felt so relieved, and I was just so happy. And I was just making sure that I didn't wreck the truck with the excitement, just getting back to the base. And got my truck. I got paired with my truck driver trainer and everything. And the first trip we ever had, it was from Rosemount or Minneapolis, Minnesota to Eugene, Oregon. Eugene, Oregon is like by the Pacific Ocean.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. Way over there.
So you're in the middle of the country. You drive all the way to one end, deliver some lumber, pick up some lumber, and then they're like, all right, so your drop off is in Madawaska, Maine.
Jeez.
So
That's where it was?
Madawaska, Maine. You know where Madawaska, Maine's at?
It's way on the tip.
Madawaska, Maine, they don't even use U.S. cell towers. They use Canadian cell towers up there.
Jeez.
And it's the very northern city in Maine.
That's crazy.
There's only one city that's more north than that, and it's only about 10 minutes.
I
could throw a rock into Canada. Legit, throw a rock into Canada. So
That's crazy.
Yeah, and another thing that's crazy in Madawaska, they have if you drive through the city, you see a bunch of Acadian flags, like in Lafayette.
Yeah,
all the fleur-de-lis and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, a lot of the same people, like from the same, I guess, culture or ethnicity, whatever. They basically did a split. Like
Cajun, French.
a lot of them went down south, and a lot went all the way up north towards Canada. So you'll see the exact same thing in Lafayette, Louisiana, up there in Madawaska, Maine, as far as like the flags and stuff. I was like, why do y'all have these Acadian flags? He's like, oh, well, there was like a split. A lot of people went down in Louisiana, and then some of them went up north and developed there. I was like, damn, that's crazy.
Yeah, that is nice. That is. I can only imagine the things that you've seen driving across the country like that.
Oh, dude, I saw a buffalo.
And it's 2 years? Well, buffalo ain't that impressive.
No, you see bison.
I've seen bison.
Yeah, you see bison. You ain't never seen a buffalo.
I've seen it on the
You
slot
ain't-
machines. Buffalo.
Yeah, right. Okay, you probably had a gallon of Buffalo Trace.
Yeah,
Okay.
I've seen that before.
But you ain't never seen a buffalo. So my truck driver trainer, his name's Stuart, great guy, fantastic, taught me everything I needed to know for truck driving. And really, he was the catalyst of what helped like kind of build my character and like get me disciplined. He was the one who like really started the discipline and me to approach this opportunity. But nonetheless, he's like, when you see a buffalo, you're gonna be real impressed. I said, I mean, I've seen buffalo before. He's like, no, you haven't. And I was like, well, when we went through Jamestown, North Dakota, they had the buffalo up there. He's like, those aren't buffalo, that's bison. And I said, well, what's the difference? He said, well, a buffalo looks the exact same, just 10 times bigger. Like a dinosaur-like animal. And I was like, okay, yeah, whatever. And so, like, it's a mythical creature, right? And I will never forget this day. It will forever be a memory in my mind. I was coming back from the west side. I think I was coming from like Wyoming or, some Idaho maybe. And I was coming back going through Montana, and I'm driving, and it's like kind of snow. Actually, it wasn't snowing at all. I just see like a bunch of research trucks, because there's like this little gorge from the interstate, and it's like fenced off, and then it's like the valley and mountains and stuff. And there's like 10 research trucks with the little yellow lights and like 5 patrol units, like in this one area, and they're all pointed to one, like facing the mountainside. And it's probably from like, probably like here from like the building across the street, far from us. and I just see this big old like monstrosity, like this massive beast just standing, like an actual size of a billboard.
Huge.
And these guys, they're like snapping pit, like going crazy over this thing, and this thing just like moves its head and go. I was like, ain't no way. I said, that's a buffalo.
That's a buffalo.
That's it, right? That's what Stuart was talking about. That's an actual buffalo.
And where'd you see
And
that at?
this is in Montana.
Okay.
Like this thing was the size of a damn billboard.
Yeah.
And I'm blowing Stuart's phone up, like going crazy. I called him like 15 times. He didn't answer. I texted him like, you gotta call me. And he calls me. He's like, yeah, are you okay? Are you fine? I was like, Stuart, I saw a buffalo. And he's like, how big was it? And I was like, it was the size of a billboard. He said, you saw a buffalo.
Yeah.
Like, cool. He never got overly excited about things. And me, I'd be the one who's like going crazy excited about seeing mountains. Like when I was going through the valley and along the Columbia River in Washington and Oregon, one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen in the country. The most beautiful route I've ever been on was along the Salmon River in Idaho. Absolutely gorgeous, fantastic. Like people would literally stop. This would be more your thing. They'd stop on the road. Like there's a highway and you could like pull off. They have like gravel, and the gravel like goes into the river, and you could just straight up throw your kayak out there and just go along the river.
Okay.
Just start going downstream. I'm like, so how are you gonna get back to your car?
Yeah.
But I guess that was for them to figure out. But I'd see people do that, and it was so nice. But yeah, I saw a buffalo for the first time in my life. That was fantastic.
So it sounds like you really enjoyed like the experiences you had in trucking. So what made you kind of start exploring the new options through like performance windows?
You got to think everything in Louisiana is flat.
Yeah.
I mean, we see a hill in Mississippi, we get excited.
That's like,
You know what I
the
mean?
reason Dakota's here is it was that culture shock when he got here and saw mountains and saw the communities, and he was speechless. You know, so I could see that, especially in trucking. But what do you think led to, like, why were you starting to explore new options?
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing is I feel like I got my sense of fulfillment out of truck driving. Now, I was a flatbed trucker, so I wasn't a fat lazy one. I didn't just sit in my truck, back in, pull out, and do that whole thing. Tap my tires for air pressure and things like I didn't do that. I had to get out. I had to go back to that hard labor, And I told myself from the jump, I said I need to put myself, because I've had so much fun for 6-7 years, DJing. I told myself, I said, you need to put yourself through something that's going to be physically taxing, something that's so physically taxing that it's going to mentally challenge you at that point. You know what I mean? And doing that's exactly what it did. And trust me, there is nothing fun about being in Greenbush, Minnesota. And actually, where I was delivering to? I was delivering lumber to Marvin Windows in Greenbush, Minnesota.
No way.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So that's where Marvin Windows headquarters is at. But nonetheless, delivering lumber up there, and it is -15, wind blowing 30, 40 mile an hour. And I got a tarp. I got a strap, tarp, and, by myself in the cold.
Yeah.
There's nothing fun about that. That is miserable. It sucks. And to only get paid like $800 off that, you know what I mean? There's nothing fun about that. Like, there's nothing cool. Like, that's when you want to quit. Okay.
Right.
And I just told myself, I said, if I don't do this, then I don't get paid. So it took me for something like that. It normally take me an hour to do, to prepare, secure, everything like that. It took me about 3.5 hours to get that done. And I told I did it. I finished it, got it done, and when I started driving off, I was like, dude, you can do anything. Like, if I could do that, that sucked. Like, that was the worst 3.5 hours I've ever been. I've been to jail before, okay? And that was the worst 3.5 hours I have ever experienced in my life.
Yeah.
Like, it sucked. It was miserable. And so that was back in January at the time. And then fast forward, I done been to every state in the entire country. Like, so for like 4 months, I've been just kind of like browsing where at in the country, you know, I'd want to move to, things like that. And I came out to Denver last May. Was it last May? Yes, it was last May, not this May. It was last May I came out to Denver, you know, while the Nuggets were in the championship. We're in the playoffs, and they were playing the Miami Heat. And I was out here for that. And I was in downtown Denver, and the Nuggets won Game 5 at home.
Oh.
And
I remember people parading.
it was just like when the Saints won the Super Bowl.
Jokic was out there. And all that
Yeah,
kind of
it
stuff.
was. Yeah, they were all out there, and you know they had people hanging from the
Light
street
poles.
lights and the light pole. Like one dude was doing pull ups on a light pole.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, get out! You're gonna hurt yourself. And he didn't care. You know, he was just happy, probably drunk. You know, whatever. But you know, cell phone service. Like so many people in one area, cell phone service is what wasn't even working. Like, and it was just like an exciting time. And I was like, wow, it's just, you know, mountains and people are happy and winning culture here, things like that. And I was like, damn, I want to be here. You know, like this is really nice. This is very nice. You know, the city's great. People are great. You know, y'all were here too. I didn't know that at the time. You know, I didn't know y'all were here at the time. But, you know, I was just preparing to come to Colorado and move up here. So, you know, fast forward, get to November. And, or actually, it might have been September. Lizzie, I had her on Snapchat, and she posted on her story, you know, made 14K this month, you know, one of those swipe up, learn how type of things. And I was like, all right, cool, whatever, let's do it. And I was like, hey, what do you do? And she was like, I think she might have said, I sell windows, or I don't know, whatever the case may be. I was like, all right, cool. That's fine. And we stayed in communication for about 2 months. So August, September, or October, November, September, October. There we go. So for 2 months we stayed in contact. And then I told
This
Lizzie.
is 2023.
Yeah, this is 2023. I told Lizzie, I was like, hey, look, I'm going to send me the script. I'm going to learn it. I'm going to quit truck driving. Give me 2 weeks to go home and be with my family, be with them, things like that. And then I'll come up there. I said, I've half-assed a lot of things in my life. I said, this will be the last thing that I ever half-ass again. And, you know, she kind of, you know, brush it off like, oh, he ain't serious. I'm sure she talked to you about it, like, you know, oh, he needs 2 weeks. And I could only imagine the things you were chirping her ear about me. I mean, he was probably, he ain't serious, da-da-da.
Yeah.
Forget about him, abundance mentality.
Day one and one day.
Right. You know? And so if he could do it at 2, why can't do it now? That's cotton chirping in her ear. But I told her, I was like, you know, I'm serious. Like, just allow me to do that because I don't know when I'm coming back home. And she was like, all right, cool. And she bought the plane ticket. And, you know, I went home, spent time with my mom, my little sister, you know, went and saw my brother and my sister and my dad and stuff like that. And spent time with friends and just was like, you know, I'm going up to Denver to, you know, do not try this job. I'm going to do this job. And that's where the disconnect happens with people who are successful at doing this rather than the people who come in here and they do all right. They do all right. And it takes them forever to get to the next step. Like when you want to go do something or be something, you go do or be that thing. You don't try to be that thing. You don't try a job out. So I told Lizzie, I said, look, I just want to give this. I want to give this here 100%, 110%. I've half-assed so much in my life. Like, yes, if I gave 110% to DJing and learn how to do it, I'd probably be a famous DJ right now.
Good chance.
If I gave 110% of being an MC, I'd probably be a famous MC right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he's like a hype a crowd up. But nonetheless, I told her I want to take this serious, and I did just that. You know, when I first got here, she was like, you know, say the script. I was like, I
remember that. We were talking some shit.
I was like, I'm not doing that.
She was like, he won't even say it.
Yeah, I said,
I remember that.
I said, nah, I'm not doing it. And then it's honestly because I didn't know it.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't admit it till just now, but it's honestly because I didn't know it. And I was like, all right, you. And I went back and I talked with myself. I said, hey, this woman paid for you to come up here and stay in her house and do this job. And you said that you were going to give 110%. Is this 110%? And the answer at the time was no.
Yep.
And I told myself that. I said, it's no. So I came prepared the next day. And so the next day, said the script, passed it off, whatever the case may be. And then I went out to the doors, and y'all were like, the only way you're going to learn if you go out there and knock doors. I was like, all right, cool, that's fine. Let's do it. Well, to me, when I go 12 doors in a row and I completely botch the script every single time, for me, other people may not think like this, but for me, I told myself I wasn't going to touch a single door until I knew that script front and back to front.
It ain't fun not knowing the words.
No, it's not. And the thing is, I went. There was a park right where we were knocking on. This is in Loveland too. This is up there in Loveland. There was a park, and I walked around this park for almost 4 hours, saying the script word for word until I could say it 10 times in a row without messing up one word.
Yep.
And that's what I did because I felt, without even being told, I felt that I was taking opportunities away from other people who knew what they were doing, who could set those people.
Yep.
Because there was one person who gave me the time of the day, but because I didn't know what I was talking about, I didn't set them. And I was like, damn, someone else could have did that. So I said, that's going to be the last time I feel like that. So I went to that park, walked in a circle for almost 4 hours, and then I said the script 9 times in a row. And on that 10th try, messed up, started all over again.
Yep.
But that was the best investment I had for myself was that time. And Lizzie was blowing my phone up. What are you doing? Where are you at? Why aren't you knocking? And I told her what I was doing, you know. But she's like, the only way you're going to learn is if you get out there and go do it. And I was like, well, how about I learn these words first and then I'll go out there and do it.
You should have learned the words before you came.
No, that's fine. But the thing is, I took it serious.
Yeah.
Like I that was my 110% was going
Committed.
to that park and learning what I needed to do to be my best at this job. And another thing about this opportunity here, like with truck driving, your 9 to 5, things like that. You know, all those jobs, it doesn't matter. Even if you're at a corporate, you know, let's just say you're the COO of a company. Well, guess what? You still work for someone. And guess what? The person who's above you is still telling you how much you're worth.
Yep.
I don't care if it's $2-3 million. I don't care what the dollar amount is. Someone is still telling you how much you are worth. And for me, I was tired of that. So I took this opportunity because you get paid based off your potential. And sometimes your potential exceeds what your expectation of yourself is. And that's what I love about this job right here. Like I gave myself till May to qualify, and I cranked it out in January and February. Now we were sitting around the water cooler for a little bit waiting on them recruits. But the thing is, while we were in that lull period, I made sure to maintain my consistency.
Yeah, you qualified how many months in a row?
It was 5 months in a row.
Yeah.
January, February, it was all 5 months in a row. I had 8 or more sales.
But that's a great point. Of if you you chase 2 rabbits and once they both get away. For 5 months, you were chasing the sales because you never wanted to lose that proof of what this company is. And then whenever recruits started to come through, it's easy to transition and train them.
Exactly. And for me, like, if I'm not going to have my recruits, I mean, I could at least get some sales.
Right.
Imagine not having recruits and not having any sales.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Like,
You're
what?
not doing nothing.
Stay chasing one of them rabbits.
That's crazy. It's like, oh, I still got bills to pay. Like, you know, job's not finished. The ball keeps going. Like when homeowners like, well, I'm sorry we couldn't do it. I'm like, I mean, train keeps moving. What are you talking? I don't need you.
Yeah.
It's fine. You could sit right there in your chair and have your broken window. Like it's all right. But I just love the fact and the aspect of like being able to get paid based off your potential. Like you don't have anyone telling you how much you're worth or how much you should be paid, and you're working, breaking your back to earn, those $25 an hour, or trying to get that $20 tip from that table, you're going absolutely crazy to make $200 a day when you could just work 5 hours a day, read a piece of paper, memorize a piece of paper that someone gave to you, go out, have a conversation with someone, talk to them for maybe 5 to 7 minutes, walk away from their door, and 2 hours later, you're getting paid $2,000.
Yep.
Like, we are walking and talking. I don't have to be in Greenbush, Minnesota, trying to tarp a damn truck with a
2-degree weather.
Two 100-pound tarps, by the way, like trying to put that on, like, and just to make $800 for a 3-day trip.
Yeah.
Like that's I don't have to do that anymore. And I do this here, and then it goes back to my mom being proud of me and stuff like that. She called me last week crying.
Mm-hmm.
She's just like, because I updated her and everything, and told her she's been knowing what's going on, but she just had like a mommy moment, and she's just like, I'm just so proud of you. And she had every doubt in her mind whenever I came up here. She was
As
like,
every parent does.
She was just like, I don't know, it's whatever. She's like, you don't have no benefits, like you don't have, you're not gonna, like, they're not giving you like any kind of money, you have to make it all on your own. I was like, yeah. She was like, that's stupid. I was like, okay, all right. And so I had a chip on my shoulder. I had something to prove. Like, I had to one, make mama proud, prove her wrong, make her proud and prove her wrong, all in the same go. You know what I mean? And that's exactly what I did. She's proud as hell. I'd say this is the happiest my mom has ever been for me in my entire life right now.
That's amazing.
In 28 years, this is the happiest she's ever been for me in my entire life. And I came here with the goal of being the example for my family.
What's your purpose, bro? Like, what drives you every day?
Being the example for my family.
Being the example.
I'm talking, like, my mom, like, at this point, it's like when I talk to my little brother, or when I talk to my little sister, or like my mom, like whatever, like the conversation never used to be like, oh, ask your brother what he thinks. Because
You're now the
brother was the the partier, the going out and doing dumb stuff all the time. Now the conversation is, ask your brother and see what he thinks. And that's what I want. That's what I love to hear. Like, you need to be like your brother. You need to whatever he's doing, you got to figure it out just like him. Like, I want to be that example, and I want to be the one who's gonna make sure my family is taken care of. And once family's taken care of, then I could start working on friends. But you got to take care of home first.
That's right.
You got to take care of the people that are closest to you, your loved ones. You got to take care of yourself, most importantly, and then take care of the people who are closest to you. All right, and that's my biggest thing, is that I had to take care of myself in order for me to be able to appreciate and take care of other things that I need to focus on. So, for instance, like me just partying, being this, that, and the third, everybody only knew me as, B-Rob, have happy-go-lucky B-Rob, right? Well, I've also dealt with a lot of, like, mental battles as far as, like, having trouble connecting with people and kind of, like, expressing how I feel to people, because people always came to me to, boost their mood and things like that. Exactly. And I can never be the person who was the one telling, how I felt and stuff like that. So truck driving really helped me to love myself and who I am, and really respect my time that I have by myself. Like, it really helped me develop self-improvement and have that accountability and know that I could handle whatever I need to handle by myself.
And I think it's a great thing, because I relate to that just for like me joining the Army National Guard. I've never been away from my family. I've never been able to think freely and just figure out what's going on in my life. And by me going away for 16 weeks for no cell phone, like only letters that are 2 weeks in delay. You know, a 2 week long conversation is one letter, you know. So it's like being away and having that time to really focus on yourself. It makes you realize like what's important in life. And then that's also allowed you to be able to come into an environment like this and just sprint. Yeah.
Exactly. And I was ready to take it on, just because I always told myself I was meant for more. It was always meant for more. I always told my mom that. I always told her, I said, hey, look, there's something for me. I just got to find it. And she was like, I know. I hope you find it too. You know what I mean?
Before we get off that topic, and we'll get to wrapping up this here in a minute, but as far as how you were saying doing it for yourself, right? Yeah. And this is not just like a performance windows aspect, but just in life in general, right? I feel like a lot of people, they're always trying to do something to satisfy someone else rather than putting their self first. Kind of talk about, because I know obviously your mom is a big aspect to your life along with your siblings, right? Kind of talk about how you had to switch that mindset to where I got to put myself first, right? I got to put my own happiness first rather than where I can voice my emotion to somebody else rather than just always being the person that's always trying to pick everybody else up.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it came down to, you know, me having like a breakdown, you know what I mean, and really slipping into a very dark place mentally. And I have, like, at that point, I felt like the thoughts so dark, like not to the sense of like wanting to like harm myself or anything, but you definitely slip into like these very deep dark thoughts of like damn, am I the only one out here? Like, what am I doing? What am I supposed to be doing? Like, I'm supposed to be doing something more in life right now at this point. Yeah. And I was like, well, since I feel like I'm by myself, we're gonna go ahead and, you know, embellish it. We're gonna embellish. We're gonna embrace, and we're gonna lean into all this head on. So, truck driving really just like allowed me to have that time alone and away from the crowds and stuff like that, and I was able to, because I was damn near 300 pounds.
Damn, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, I got up to damn near 300 pounds while doing truck driving, because I mean, away from home, you start to slip into depression. So, you know, you go to comfort, you start eating.
Yeah.
So, and then like while I was truck driving, I was like, damn, I need to like be able to get up and down this truck. You know,
pulling up a lot of weight, getting up this motherfucker.
Like, it started to get hard to get up on this trailer. You know what I mean? So I was like, we got to get to the gym. And like, and the first thing I started doing, because I always ate like these gummies and these candies and stuff. I threw that out, and I replaced that with like, you know, Fiber One bars and like granola bars, things like that. And I started leaning towards like pecans, like the Planters roasted pecans and stuff like that. And, you know, trying to reel in the diet. Like, I didn't have the cleanest diet, but trust me, it was 4 times better than what I was previously.
3 packs of Starburst.
Exactly. I don't like Starburst. It's M&M's and Skittles. But nonetheless, I reeled in the diet, you know, started to feel better. You know, sleeping was getting better. You know, I wasn't like waking up because I'm swallowing my throat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like my neck's not going into my throat. And I started to feel better. Then I started getting in the gym and like making time for the gym. Like I'm talking after 10 hours of driving 600-700 miles, I'd be like, I am tired. Let's go to the gym.
Yeah.
And I would take a dry scoop of pre-workout and get that energy to go to the gym. Because I'm like, I can't produce the energy myself, but this pre-workout is bucked up. Exactly. And I take that pre-workout. I go work out for 2 hours, then go in the terminal or whatever, shower, go back in my truck, and go to sleep. 2 hours later, after driving for 10 hours, like, if there's a will, there's a way. All right. And I knew I needed to change my ways while doing truck driving. And by me being able to work out and do all this stuff on my own, I was like, damn, like I got this. I got this. And that was really just the foundation for me to want to find something that was gonna helped me appreciate an opportunity like this. Like doing that hard work, that hard labor, going through all that helped me appreciate and really embellish and fall in love with an opportunity that I'm in right now. And that's why I'm able to, you know, first week and a half here, $8,500.
Yeah.
I mean, I couldn't call that.
Nope.
Couldn't call it.
Nope.
And then, you know, first month, January, 10 sales, February, 8 sales, you know, 888, became a closer, started doing the closer thing. You know, last month got my golden door. That's $2 million in rev and windows, rookie year, by the way.
Yep.
Yeah. And if the listeners don't know what a Golden Door Award is, that is the top 1% in the door-to-door industry. So congratulations on that.
Yes, thank you. I can't wait. Utah.
Yeah.
Door-to-door con, right?
Yeah, door-to-door con. And one thing I do want to talk about before we do wrap it up is that how you were talking about, you know, you're driving and then, you know, you're getting done after a 10-hour-long work day and you're like, man, I got to go to the gym. You know what I mean? And it's always that little voice in the back of your head that is trying to beat you. And that's where people get into that dark spot in their life, is because they let that little voice that's telling you, oh, you can't do that. You know what I mean? No, this is just how it's going to have to be, rather than just beating that voice in the back of your head and squashing it, is where you're going to see the positive outcomes and the personal growth aspect. You know,
exactly. And for me in that moment, like, I was very much so like, okay, we could go to sleep and then try to do this in the morning, or we can, you know, choose hard and do it tonight. And we gonna wake up in the morning and do it again.
Mm-hmm.
Challenge
So
yourself.
it's like, all right, cool. You can get skinny, you know, and it'll take longer, or we could speed this up times 2, and you cut down that weight, you know, twice as fast by working out tonight and tomorrow. And it's just like what good old David Goggins said: don't stop when you're done, stop when you're finished. You know what I mean? And that's true. Like at that day, those days that I think about it, I wasn't done. Like I wasn't finished. Like I was done, but I wasn't finished. And I kept going until I was finished. And, you know, I work out, feel better, sleep like a baby, wake up 5 a.m. the next day, go work out, get in the truck, 10 hours of driving.
Yeah.
So that's just what it was. But I will say I'm very grateful to be where I'm at. This is the happiest I've ever been, because I focused on myself and develop myself to the best of my ability, and just to get to where I'm at. Like I told myself, look, like if you could take care of yourself and build your foundation, then that's when you could go out and look for someone. Like if you don't have a girlfriend or anything like that, and you want a girlfriend, or if you want a significant other, whatever, or you want to find that special person in your life, focus on yourself first. Love yourself first, because until you do that and achieve that, how the hell are you going to love somebody else?
Yeah.
Like, how are you going to be able to share those experiences with that person if you can't do that? It doesn't take someone else to love you more than yourself for you to finally find that. You have to love yourself and be blessed and grateful for who you are as a person, for yourself, by yourself, before you can allow someone to love and appreciate you more than you do for yourself.
How you going to take care of somebody if you can't take care of yourself?
Exactly.
Same thing with leading. How you going to lead somebody if you can't lead yourself? You know,
Now, mind you, I've been gaining a little weight, but this is the best my big has ever looked on me. So I'm doing all right.
Yeah.
Because you
look
got that
sharp,
call,
bro.
that market on a call slowed you down a little bit on your routine.
Dude, that call stressed me out. But that's fine. We doing all right. We got a place out there in Houston, and I'm just very grateful and excited that I got that phone call. That's what it really comes
We're
down
excited
to.
for you to be competing with us.
Yeah, I'm ready to give you two a spanking.
You're gonna do good, bro. I'm super
You
stoked
trying to do
for
a
you.
blitz? Let's do a blitz first week there. No, I'm just kidding. I don't want to do that. I don't wanna do that.
Yeah, I'm super proud of you, bro. Obviously, you came so freaking far since you've been here.
Such a short amount of time.
Short amount of time.
A
Only
year and 2 days.
A year and 2 days. You know what I mean?
Such a short amount of time. This is a cheat code. This opportunities like this is a cheat code in life. Someone who spent hours and days, weeks, years trying to master what they do has put it on a piece of paper and said, "Here you go," and I just need you to go say this to 100 people a day.
It's
Yeah.
a black top paved road to success.
Yeah.
You just got to walk it.
You
Walk
just
the
gotta do it.
line. That's
Yeah.
it.
Or run it. You can run it. We ran.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we ran down
I've
that
been
line.
running.
Yeah.
But it's great. It's like, all right, cool. I learned the words on this paper. That's fine. All right, I know the words. I just got to talk to people. That's cool. Once I know how to speak to people and set appointments, I just got to get a sale. Once I get my first sale, how many sales do I need to get to be able to like move up? Oh,
Yeah.
2 months in a row. Let's go ahead and do that.
Knock them out.
And then become a closer. Once you learn how to become a closer, you start doing that for a little bit. What's the next step? Market owner. How do you become a market owner? Oh, be really good at closing and learn how to train knockers.
Yep.
Cool. Know how to do that. Now we're here. So
Yep.
it's simple.
Everybody
It's very
just
simple.
replicate. We're all doing the same thing.
Don't make it harder than it is.
But yeah, I'm ready to get jiggy in Houston. How about y'all?
Yeah.
Yeah,
We're
we-
excited for you, bro. But go ahead.
Yeah, I can't wait to do a tippy toe, tippy tay.
The first Houston shout out.
We
Yeah.
got a sale in H-Town today, huh?
I
like it.
He's
I
already
like it.
practicing.
But they always gonna be the little brother in Texas.
Yeah.
Austin always run that
You
state.
think?
Let's see how that recruiting game comes,
Hey,
because
that's
that's
what
where
they-
where market owners become
Hey,
great.
you
is
got they're
recruiting.
only 5 hours from me. They about 7. They
Ah, that
about
don't
6,
matter.
7 from you.
But hey,
snag
look,
couple.
we appreciate you coming on, B.
Mm-hmm.
Rob. Big future for you. 2025 is going to be life changing.
Yes.
If I am B. Rob's your Instagram,
Yes. I_am_B
B. Rob.
Yeah.
Perfect. Hey, reach out to B. Rob if you're interested in possibly coming to Houston. He'd love to, have you on his team. We appreciate you, B. Rob, and we'll catch y'all next time. Peace.
Peace.